What is up, Master of the Universe fans? Welcome to George Reviews. I am the 80s Transformers fan, and today I'll be taking a look at Mattel's Master of the Universe Skeletor Lord of Destruction Origins figure. And here is Skeletor in the vintage style packaging, very vintage looking. He's in a bubble, just like the vintage figure with the little divot in the bubble. You can see Skeletor clearly in there. If you are a mint on card collector, this is perfect for you. See the completed action figure within. You see the mini comic behind him. It says on the packaging, modern posing, retro play. Mattel down here. Let's take a look at the back of the box. There is Skeletor. Looks like he's standing on the rim of a volcano. It says the nefarious overlord Skeletor wants to control the power within Grayskull. It's like why is he at a volcano doing this? And includes comic book. And right here, just like on He-Man's packaging, it says modernizing and celebrating the original 80s Master of the Universe action figures. Master of the Universe Origins gives you the power to pose Eternia's greatest warriors as retro style figures or in new action-packed battle positions. And we can see you, I mean, this cracks me up. They show you can put the weapon in his hand. And they show you, I guess you can twist into powerful battle positions. It shows the figures in the lineup, and it is artwork that actually looks like the figure, because that is the same terrible head that is on He-Man. And Skeletor, Evil-Lyn, Beastman, Teela, Man-at-Arms. I did that all out of order. But that is the package, and now I'm going to get it open. I'm just going to rip into it. I tried to finesse He-Man's packaging. And speaking of He-Man, it just fell out. And the comic book just shot out. So here's Skeletor out of the pack. Put him right here for right now. Let's take a look at the comic book. It is the exact same comic book that came, the cheap bastards. It was packaged with He-Man. In case you only watching Skeletor's video, I'm going to thumb through it for you real quick so you can take a look at the artwork and see the panels within. He-Man is beating the hell out of a Shadow Beast. He's taking it to the chin. And foot on the Shadow Beast, Beastman. Skeletor taking it to the chin. Baka! And the back of the book. It's a really nice touch they included, but man, they could have, it was a couple different ones. Okay, now where was Skeletor? A lot of people complain about the gaping mouth. I think it's cool. They did something different. If they really wanted to impress me, they would have put a hinge on it. We could open and close it. But it looks like the vintage figure. The paint over the skull, the painted in like teeth lines, the glowing red eyes back in there in the sockets. And like actually the head looks green with yellow painted on it. That's kind of different. And he has the bat logo on his armor. His armor's pretty soft. Thought it would be a little bit harder. It's pretty soft. The little belt armor right here. He has the standard belt and loincloth underneath, or trunks, whatever this is. Underneath the back of Skeletor says Mattel. 2020 Mattel. Made in China. Here are his boots. They're a separate sculpt. There's not a lot of paint on these guys. They either use one color plastic or another. Like the trunks are black plastic. The legs and arms and body, torso are blue plastic. The boots are a purple plastic, and so is the loincloth down here and the armor. And this little piece that goes over what is the head or skull, this is blue plastic also. I like it when they do that, because like if you drop it or scrape it, you don't have to worry about the paint coming off and then not looking so cool anymore. And he's stylized just like the vintage figure. Only thing is they added articulation. So let's take a look at that. Skeletor can look up this far, look down that far. His head bobbles side to side. You can do that. He's like, what? 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 Beastman, you son of a... Okay, and then Wheel 360. His shoulder has this little new joint in there. It will 360. They made the armor soft so it goes right around. The armor comes right back into its position. And coming to his elbow, get a 90-degree bend out of there. They made the forearm similar to the vintage figure. Not quite, but very similar. Made this claw hand similar as well. You can see the sharp nails. 360s at the wrist. Has a hinge wrist as well. And 360s at the waist. And it even comes apart at the waist. The only thing they didn't add was like an ab crunch. But then I guess I would have took this figure to the $20 price point. I'm not sure. You can open his legs up this far. and he can get up front to back. It barely, and that's my only real complaint. They can't really come up forward with their foot like they're jumping over something, and that's a bit of a problem. They could have did something different in here or reduced the size of the upper thigh. I don't know. Coming to his knee, they try to hide it pretty well. Bends right there. You can't see the joint from the front, but you can see it in the back. And he swivels at the boot cut, and he has the front back hinge there and the rocker on his feet, and he has like the demon feet with the claws. Like he got boots made to fit over his demon feet because they fit perfectly. Even the claws fit into the boot. Okay, I'm just kidding. And he's meant to be able to stand up much straighter than a vintage figure like this. Don't tell me you're not gonna stand up, Skeletor. Oh, let me line up his stuff. And this is him at like his tallest point. And you can squat him like the vintage figure. The only thing is, like when you squat him, you kind of want to pull him back and have him swing forward, but he doesn't do that anymore. So let's take a look at Skeletor's accessories for this particular figure. And we have the other half of He-Man's sword, or Grayskull's sword, and the Havoc staff. And this Havoc staff looks very, very retro. It looks just like the vintage figure. The ram horns are like out to the sides. You can see the is it a ram or is it a goat? I don't know. The ram's head. Some detailing in there. In the mouth is the skeleton. You can see the eye socket. And then it's just a regular staff. And here's the other side to the Alcala style He-Man or Grayskull's power sword. Then I thought He-Man's sword was just, I thought I warped it, but there's a little warping, I guess, to accommodate the hand. So this is the sword and the Havoc staff. Let's go for the Havoc staff first because he was always seen in the cartoon with it. And here we go, Lord of Destruction armed up. Looks pretty cool. And then as a kid, you could sort of kind of, back in the day, slide this over the claw hand because of the way the claws were. And he would kind of hold it. And it still works. Still works right here. I have a sword and a staff, He-Man. Yeah, I'm trying out my Skeletor's voice. So here is Skeletor all armed up. Looks pretty cool. And speaking of arming up, let's take his armor off. So in order to do that, let me just demonstrate. His head comes off. And okay, unlike He-Man, you don't. It's done like the vintage style. His armor, you could just pop it off and don't have to unhook everything and slide it off his arm. You don't even have to unhook the back portion, which is cool. And there is his armor off. I didn't have to do any of that. But anyway, since I'm showing you, you can take the head off. And you can separate him at the waist so you can mix and match and play different ways. Once you get a few figures, you can create your own guy, battle damage guy, or whatever you want to do. Because they got all these things to pop off. So they put a lot of forward thinking and added a lot of play value to this line, which is pretty cool. And the belt comes off as well. So let's get Skeletor stripped down, put the head back on it. And he's naked. Oh, naked. It's a shame we can never get a Skeletor where the hood actually comes off, or where they actually paint the neck where it makes sense, like he's wearing a hood and it's part of the armor piece. It's just a bonnet on his head. But there is that vintage looking body. Everyone on Eternia hits the gym super hard. Skeletor looks great. Look at that bicep. Like, yeah, He-Man, come get some. Yeah, He-Man. The back looks very, very like the vintage figure. I can see now the trunks are different, but the rest of this looks like they actually took the vintage mold and tweaked it. I'm not sure if that's the case. And the thighs don't look as muscular as the vintage thighs though. But that is the bare buck. Okay, the next thing I want to do is take the two halves of the power sword and merge them. Skeletor has the female half. He-Man has the male half, and it's two pegs right there. It should be three, obviously, because like in the back of the day, the top would just curl out. And I'm just saying it already. Oh no, it's four pegs at the bottom, but they needed a peg at the top. So anyway, I'm Just try to get this going, and you see the separation right there. They needed a peg right there, and we would have been straight, but this is it. And since Skeletor review second, Skeletor has the power, has the full sword in his hand, and he's holding on to it very well. I have the sword, He-Man. And just like He-Man, when you hold it up for that power of Grayskull, no, Skeletor doesn't say it, but he would if he had the entire sword. When you hold it up to call upon a power, like the hinge here should have been reversed to get it back so he can actually get up better by the power of Grayskull and look up. And the look up is not that bad. I mean, it's not that bad overall in the first place because he can still look up at it, but it would have been a lot better if that hinge was different. I want to stay. Alright, there we go. You can store the sword on his back just like the vintage figure. And Skeletor looks pretty cool. He was not hard to find at all. Like, when I first saw him in stores, they had like 5 Skeletors hanging and all the other figures was gone. Then they had maybe 4 or 5 Battle Cats. And then today I actually saw Skeletor at 2 different locations. One location at Walmart only had Skeletor, and another location only had He-Man and Skeletor. So I think they're getting different shipments. I think they're getting full waves of everybody, then batches of He-Man and Skeletor. At least that's what it looks like near me. But Skeletor is not hard to find. Alright, so here is my Skeletor next to the As Seen on TV Skeletor. This is the only close to vintage style Skeletor I own. You can see some drastic differences in here. Like, this guy has a very, very pale face. And of course, they try to make it like the cartoon. It's a lot more simpler. The blue is very bright. The feet and the boots are vastly different. Gone are the little wings or whatever on his arms, because he didn't have them on a cartoon. Back of the armor is kind of similar. Loincloth as well. And Skeletor, he actually, I didn't notice that on He-Man, he has pegs, so you can peg him into a stand or on a vehicle probably, which is very cool. And let's take a look at these two guys, Havoc staffs. The detail is greater over here, but I like this one a lot better. And in the back, he would use as the crystal ball on a cartoon. And this one just looks a lot better. I wish I had a few of these to go with this guy and maybe some other figures. And it's a lot thinner, so I don't think this Skeletor can hold it. Let's check it out. This thing is super thin. Hell, he barely holds it. Oh, nope. Yeah, I guess like right here, he can hold it right here, which isn't too bad. You know, he can get it up and threaten He-Man. And let's see if he can hold his sword. And this version has the full sword onto himself, which is awesome. And it's the standard sword versus the Alcala look. So, and again, it's really thin at the hilt. See if this, oh, he holds it. This Skeletor can hold it. It doesn't match the color, but he can hold it. Okay, before I get out of here, take a look at Skeletor versus the entire batch of Skeletors I have open. That is the Filmation version by Super 7. This is the Classics version by Mattel. And I just already showed the As Seen on TV version by Super 7 as well. So here's a group shot of all my open Skeletors. I got more than this, but these are the open ones. See how they compare side by side by side. And let me just bring out He-Man from the Origins line. See how they look side by side, as they are always meant to be in any toy collection. He-Man and Skeletor one more time. Alright, my final thoughts on this Skeletor figure before I get up out of here. I just realized he has the ram on the belt right there. I didn't even notice that. It's pretty cool. And it's very well done. And oh man, it has that strong new plastic smell. Oh, it's worth the buying it right now. They're retailing at Walmart at $14.95 in my area. I think it's the same nationwide. But $14.95, it's a pretty good figure. Not a whole lot of paint going on. Not a whole lot of paint to mess up. Only thing really painted is his face. And that's done well enough. And Skeletor is the Lord of Destruction. Of course, I recommend you get him. But I want to tell anybody I'm recommending this figure to, I don't plan on collecting the whole line. Like when I bought the, bring him right out here real quick. Again, when I bought the As Seen on TV version, I got it just to get like that body style again. Because I had got rid of all my vintage figures. And I just wanted a taste of the new line. And I'm feeling the same vibe with this. version of Skeletor or Master Universe Origins, I just want a taste of the new line. I'm not going to chase all these figures down. I think I may go after Man at Arms because I got Beastman and have that. But I'm looking forward to getting the vehicles. I kind of passed on Prince Adam with the Sky Sled, hoping to grab somebody Sky Sled, just selling that separate later on, and maybe they might release it separately. But I'm not looking forward to the Roton. That's been done enough. Please, no more Roton. And they announced the Land Shark, but I think they're going to do like every vehicle. And personally, I'm waiting for the Attack Track. That was my favorite vintage Master of the Universe vehicle. Didn't get it in the Classics line, and I hope we get it. I hope we get it with electronics as well. But I do believe they're going to do every one of the vintage properties. We're going to get the castle, the original concept version. I believe they're going to do that because these things are already a smash hit. They're already sold out. People are buzzing about it online. So if you're looking for him, you don't find him just yet, he's going to be available. And they're going to make the battle armor, and they're going to just roll on with this line. So nobody panic. But I do recommend it. Thank you for watching my review. The reviews where every toy has a story.
Autobots, transform!